In baseball, greatness doesn't always come with love. Some players are adored, worshipped, legends. Others? They become lightning rods, cheered by few, booed by thousands. But why? Is it arrogance, cheating, or just being too good at the wrong time? Today we explore the 5 most hated players in MLB history, and the surprising stories behind the hate. AlexRodriguez wasn't just a baseball prodigy. He was a media-made icon. By the time he was 18, the spotlight had already found him, and he looked comfortable under its glow. Tall, handsome, with a swing that scouts called picture-perfect, A-Rod was destined for greatness. And for a while, he delivered on every expectation. He put up Hall of Fame numbers before he even hit his prime. With Seattle, then Texas, and finally the New York Yankees, Rodriguez wasn't just playing baseball, he was dominating it. But as his star rose, so did the unease surrounding him. Teammates quietly questioned his ego. Fans noticed how overly rehearsed he seemed in interviews. To some, he didn't feel like a player of the people. He felt manufactured. Then came the first crack in the armor. In 2009, Rodriguez admitted to using performance-enhancing drugs while playing for the Texas Rangers. It was a shocking moment, not just because of the steroid use, but because he had previously denied everything in a now infamous interview. The fall from grace was swift, but it wouldn't be the last time. In 2013, Rodriguez was again at the center of a massive scandal. This time, the biogenesis investigation. MLB accused him of acquiring and using banned substances through a now-defunct anti-aging clinic. The fallout was brutal. Rodriguez was suspended for the entire 2014 season, the longest non-lifetime ban in league history. And unlike others who admitted guilt and sought forgiveness, A-Rod went to war. He sued Major League Baseball. He sued the Players' Union. He claimed he was the victim of a witch hunt. For fans and even fellow players, it was too much. What made people hate AlexRodriguez wasn't just the cheating. It was the denial, the arrogance, the sense that he thought he was untouchable. He had all the talent in the world, but none of the humility. When he returned to baseball in 2015, the boos followed him everywhere. And so did the asterisk next to his name in the public consciousness. But then something strange happened. After retiring, Rodriguez reinvented himself, not as a ball player, but as a broadcaster. And to everyone's surprise, he was good, funny, intelligent, vulnerable even. Suddenly, fans were warming up to the man they once loved to hate. The same media that shredded him in the 2000s now praised his insight and candor. Still, for all the redemption and career reinvention, the shadow lingers. He may be welcomed into living rooms during Sunday Night Baseball, but Cooperstown? That door might remain closed. AlexRodriguez will always be one of the most talented and most polarizing 5 players to ever wear the uniform. BarryBonds was a force of nature. He didn't just play baseball, he overpowered it. His swing was a work of art, compact and explosive. His eye at the plate? Legendary. Pitchers feared him, fans flocked to see him. But even at the height of his powers, Bonds was never truly loved. And maybe he never wanted to be. Long before the steroid whispers, Bonds already had a reputation. He was confident, some would say cocky. He didn't play nice with the media. He often avoided interviews, refused autographs, and rarely smiled for the cameras. In a game obsessed with likability, Bonds didn't care. He let his stats speak, and those stats were loud. 7 MVP awards, over 500 stolen bases, and 700 home runs. No player in history has ever combined power and speed the way Barry did. And yet, as the home run totals soared, so did the suspicion. By the early 2000s, Bonds was smashing records at an inhuman pace. In 2001, at age 36, He hit 73 home runs in a single season. The baseball world watched in awe and disbelief. His body had transformed. His numbers were off the charts. Whispers became accusations. Accusations became investigations. Then came the Balco scandal. Bonds was heavily tied to the Bay Area lab accused of supplying performance-enhancing drugs to athletes. While he never failed an official drug test, leaked grand jury testimony painted an incriminating picture. Bonds maintained his innocence, claiming he unknowingly used substances given to him by a trainer. It didn't matter. The court of public opinion had already ruled. He became a villain, not just because of steroids, but because he seemed to embrace the role. He didn't ask for forgiveness. He didn't apologize. He doubled down. While others like Mark McGwire and Andy Pettitte made public confessions and sought redemption, Bonds stayed silent, defiant, alone. When he broke Hank Aaron's all-time home run record, the moment was met with cheers, followed by boos. Some fans held signs with asterisks. Some turned their backs. It should have been a historic celebration. Instead, it felt tainted. After retirement, Bonds mostly disappeared from the spotlight. He took brief coaching roles, but never truly re-entered the game's inner circle. Despite being statistically the greatest hitter the sport has ever seen, he remains outside the Hall of Fame. Each year, voters wrestle with the same question: do numbers outweigh integrity? BarryBonds represents the complicated legacy of baseball's steroid era. He wasn't just hated because he might have cheated. He was hated because he made people confront an uncomfortable truth. That greatness doesn't always come in a form we want to admire. There are players who become legends because of their stats. Others become icons because of their personalities. Manny Ramirez, somehow, was both, and neither. He was one of the most gifted hitters of his generation. And yet, he's just as remembered for his bizarre antics as for his clutch postseason heroics. Born in the Dominican Republic and raised in the streets of Washington Heights, New York, Manny had raw talent from day one. His swing was pure poetry, natural, balanced, and devastating. He didn't just hit home runs, he made it look like the ball wanted to leave the park for him. In Cleveland, he was a rising star. In Boston, he became a champion. Red Sox fans will never forget what he did in 2004 and 2007. In that 2004 postseason, he was nearly unstoppable. He won World Series M5P. For a city starved of a title, Manny helped break the curse. And yet, something always felt off. Manny being Manny became the tagline. He disappeared into the green monster during pitching changes. He cut off throws from center field for no reason. He high-fived fans mid-play. He once stepped away from a game claiming a knee injury, then couldn't remember which knee. Was it funny? Sometimes. Was it irresponsible? Definitely. For every brilliant at-bat, there was a moment of chaos. And behind the scenes, tension grew. By 2008, his relationship with the Red Sox front office had deteriorated. Teammates had mixed feelings. Some thought he was misunderstood. Others said he was selfish, a distraction. When he was traded to the Dodgers, it felt like Boston had finally had enough, even after all the rings. Then came the PED suspensions. Not one, but two. In 2009, Manny was suspended 50 games for violating MLB's drug policy. In 2011, after a second failed test, he chose to retire rather than face a 100-game ban. Just like that, one of the most feared hitters of the 2000s walked away. Not with glory, but with controversy. What makes Manny so complex is that people still smile when they hear his name. He made people laugh. He made baseball fun. But he also made front offices nervous, managers furious, and the league embarrassed. He later attempted multiple comebacks, minor leagues, overseas, coaching. It was clear he loved the game, but the damage was done. Hall of Fame voters have never taken him seriously. Like many from the steroid era, his numbers are unmatched. But the story that surrounds him is messy, unpredictable, like the man himself. Manny Ramirez will always be remembered. But whether that memory is awe, amusement, or anger depends on who you ask. When Bryce Harper burst onto the MLB scene, he was only 19, but he acted like he'd been there for a decade. And for many fans and players, that was exactly the problem. Harper was baseball's chosen one. He'd been on Sports Illustrated covers as a teenager. He hit 500-foot home runs in high school and left college early to dominate the minors. By the time he debuted with the Washington Nationals, the hype was sky high. And so was the pressure. From day one, Harper played with flair. He flipped his bat. He stared down pitchers. He ran out every ground ball like it was Game 7. To some, it was inspiring. To others, it was infuriating. Baseball, with all its unwritten rules and sacred traditions, didn't know what to do with him. Opposing players called him arrogant. Old-school commentators said he needed to respect the game. Teammates defended him, but even they admitted he could be intense. Fans outside of Washington? They booed him at nearly every stadium. Harper wasn't just a rookie. He was a lightning rod. But behind the hair flips and swagger was a player who truly loved the game. Harper wasn't putting on a show for fame. He just played loud. And slowly, people started to see that. His all-out effort, his willingness to take pitches to the body, his emotional post-game interviews, he wasn't a villain. He was just wired differently. Then came the move that reignited the hate. In 2019, Harper signed a massive 13-year, $330 million contract with the Philadelphia Phillies. Nationals fans turned on him overnight. He was booed relentlessly in his return to D.C. They chanted, "Traitor," as he took the field. But once again, Harper didn't shrink. He doubled down. In Philly, he became more than just a star. He became a leader. His effort never wavered. He mentored young players. He battled through injuries. And when the Phillies made their postseason run in 2022, Harper was the emotional engine. He delivered clutch hits and played like a man possessed. Now in his 30s, the perception of Bryce Harper is shifting. He's still intense, still polarizing, but he's earned a level of respect that few thought possible back in his teenage years. He may never be universally loved, but maybe that was never the point. Jose Altuve was once the feel-good story of baseball. Listed at just 5 feet 6 inches, passed over by scouts, and doubted every step of the way, he fought his way into the Houston Astros lineup and became a superstar. He was fast, clutch, and humble. A 2-time batting champ, MVP, and cornerstone of Houston's rise. He wasn't just respected. He was beloved. And then it all fell apart. In 2019, MLB revealed that the Astros had used a camera-based system to steal signs from opposing pitchers during their 2017 championship season. The revelations were damning. Players banged on trash cans to signal incoming pitches. Opponents felt cheated. Fans felt betrayed. And right at the center of it all, whether he wanted to be or not, was Altuve. Despite no clear evidence that he personally used the system as much as others, he became the face of the scandal. Photos and videos were dissected. His MVP award was questioned. His legacy unraveled in real time. The internet filled with conspiracy theories. Some believed he wore a buzzer under his jersey. One clip, where he holds his shirt tightly and says, "Don't rip it off," went viral. He claimed he was just shy. The world didn't believe him. The boos came swiftly. Everywhere he went, New York, Los Angeles, even smaller markets, he was met with jeers. Fans brought signs, trash can costumes, and chants. His once squeaky clean image was now in pieces. What made it worse was the lack of consequences. No players were suspended. the title stood. For fans outside Houston, it felt like Altuve and his teammates had gotten away with it. And that made the hate even more personal. But here's the complicated part. Altuve never lashed out. He never snapped back at the crowd. He just kept playing. Quietly. Consistently. With the same drive that got him to the majors in the first place. He's still one of the best hitters in the game. Still a clubhouse leader. And yet, the damage lingers. His legacy, once rooted in triumph over adversity, is now forever tied to a scandal he may not have even led. In the end, Altuve's story is a cautionary tale. Not just about cheating, but about what happens when trust is broken, even for the ones we once adored. Hate in sports is rarely about just one thing. It's not always the scandal or the stat line or the single controversial moment. More often, it's about how players make us feel. AlexRodriguez lied, fought the system, and only apologized when he had no choice. BarryBonds never seemed to care if we liked him. Manny Ramirez made the game a circus at times. Bryce Harper wore his passion on his sleeve and challenged the sport's traditions. Jose Altuve got caught in a storm, perhaps not of his own making, but never quite washed clean. So what do these players really have in common? They're brilliant. Each of them dominated their era. Each of them drew millions of eyes to the game. And each of them forced baseball fans to choose: cheer, boo, or something in between. We hate because we care. Because baseball is personal. It's a game wrapped in identity, history, nostalgia. When a player breaks the rules, or breaks the mold, we don't just analyze them. We feel something. That's why hatred in baseball is different. It's not just disgust. It's betrayal, disappointment, jealousy. It's seeing someone do something incredible and still walking away angry. But time changes things. Even the most hated players, given enough distance, can be remembered differently. A-Rod is now a respected analyst. Bonds might still get into the hall. Harper's story isn't finished, and Altuve continues to hit, smile, and show up, no matter how loud the boos. Maybe, in the end, hate is just a phase of legacy, one part of a much longer story.